Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Okay, before we get going, I wanted to show you this from masterworks.io. This is one of my sponsors. This is a piece of artwork that they have on their platform, and I got my 10-year-old to analyze it for you. What does that look like?
It looks like toothpicks sticking up.
That's pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Toothpicks sticking up. You know what it looks like to me is like a porcupine. Do you like that one?
Yeah.
Okay, he likes it, and it looks like toothpicks sticking up. And in the background, you are hearing the tornado siren go off. It's starting right now. So this will be the first Masterworks promo where you also heard a tornado siren. I bet Masterworks can't say that that's ever happened before. If you go to the top of the description of this video, in the link to this description, in the link at the top of the description, click on that link and tell them DAI sent you. Thanks. Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am back from Las Vegas. I was worn out. I got home last night, probably at around 8:30 or so my time, and literally I was so delirious. My wife was trying to talk to me when she got home, and I was like, I'm just about to have to go. When you go over there, I only went for a couple of nights. When you go over there, you just never get used to the time change. And so you kind of just have to go on no steam. In terms of that, there is nothing I've ever been through like when I went to Singapore in 2019, because I bet I hopped 3 or 4 planes and did it all in a time span of 4 or 5 days. So you don't have any time to get used to the jet lag and the time change. And so over there, I mean, I was a walking zombie. I was like, but going to Vegas isn't much easier. Anyway, but I had a great time, and I'll talk on that a little bit more in a second. Wanted to show you this from coinpaprika.com. We've got, first we got Cardano's doing the best. Nothing's doing crazy, but Stellar and XRP are doing second and third best, which is kind of weird. Wanted to give a shout out to Mike Jansen. For those of you that don't know, Mike Jansen is this guy was one of the first 100 people that listen to this channel, and he reached out to me. He's a video production producer, and he has his own company at mgjansen.com. This is the guy who created my intro and my outro on this show, and he did it out of the kindness of his heart. He's even updated it for me. Whenever the subscriber base goes up, you'll notice at the end, it'll say how many million viewers that I've had. Now it's over 60 million, but he'll update it for me every once in a while, and he goes out of his way to email me. So if you need someone to do video production work, and he's not paying me to tell you this is just a genuine nice guy who helped me, and so I'm going to help him. mgjansen.com. He's the former announcer for the Indianapolis Colts in the stadium. Pretty darn cool stuff. All right. eGreg Crypto, XRP bullish continuation. XRP price should close the daily candles above fib 0 and land on test 20 MA for confirmation and bullish continuation. This guy, it's kind of interesting to follow what he's talking about here. One of the people, I always tell you I don't know anything about this stuff, this chart stuff, but I like to look at some of those just like you guys do. Now, this is a cool video clip put out from RippleX, from David Schwartz at Apex. Watch this.
Awareness of the XRP ledger as a layer 1 option has been increasing. Those speeds, fees, scalability, low energy uses, and I think the track record, 10 years running, and the built-in DEX, tokenization, sourcing efficient liquidity. The XRP ledger rises to the fore as a core opportunity, differentiating.
I like that. XRP rises. XRP ledger rises. That's awesome. it might be better to say on a thumbnail, XRP ledger rising.
Other chains with these features.
That's a good way I would describe my time at Apex. That's what it felt like, is the XRP ledger is rising. This XLS20 thing, I had several conversations with people, some of which I won't relay because they told me things that I think may have been in confidence. Not people from Ripple, by the way, but just developers and people that are building on the XRP ledger. And so, but I'll go ahead and relay one of those to you. And this is the most interesting conversation. And again, I'm not going to tell you who said it. I'm not going to tell you what company they're with. Well, actually, now that's funny. You know how we're always laughing about BitBoy has inside sources. Well, this is for the first time in the history of my channel, I have I guess you would call it a confidential source. It's a guy that is building on the XRP ledger, and I don't know which part of what he told me I'm not allowed to say, so I'm not going to say any of it other than the fact that there is a metaverse that is being built, and there may be a lot of people building metaverses on the XRP ledger, but I just don't know if this particular guy, if it was okay for me to talk about it. So there's a metaverse being built on the XRP ledger where XRP is gonna be used inside of that metaverse. I was fascinated by this whole conversation with this guy. Very smart guy, very nice guy. That's the extent of what. So confidential source. I'll put it on the thumbnail. I'm sure everybody will love that. Okay, now here's what we got, folks. To me, this is the most important thing that's coming up. There's so many big things that are happening in September. The Ethereum merge, the potential, who knows, settlement of the lawsuit. Probably not, but who knows. We've got Flare coming up. There's several things. XLS20. There's all these things that are converging. But one of the most important ones is what Eleanor Terrett is saying here, and that is that Gary Gensler, for the first time, I believe, is going to have to sit his butt in front of Congress and answer questions, okay, about what in the world he thinks he's up to, okay? Now, I want to make very clear, because I don't know if I make it clear enough. I have no problem with securities laws. I think that the SEC should be enforcing securities laws, and they should be going after fraudsters and all of that stuff. But the problem is, and the problem for me has always been, we've got an SEC that's trying to pick winners and losers, and that's what the Bill Hinman thing and Jay Clayton and now Gary Gensler has all been about for me. You can't just ignore the securities laws on this and try to focus on this, because it makes it look like we have a banana republic where people are taking, whatever they're doing and trying to go after one and leave one another. It has a bad smell to it. Okay, and so that's where I'm at here. Is we can't have a country where you go after one, you go after another, because these guys are representing interests on Wall Street instead of what they say they're doing, which is trying to protect the public, when they're actually doing the opposite. How many years, you XRP holders out there, how many years did they let us buy XRP while they acted like they didn't know if it was a security? How many years? Was it 7 or 8 years? Okay, and they didn't say anything. They wouldn't say one way or another to Ripple. They wouldn't say one way or another to anybody, and then hit them with the lawsuit after 8 years. Is that protecting investors? That's not protecting investors. That's lying, is what that is. So what we have to do, and Gary he's going to get up in front of them. And so I'm on a mission between now and the 15th of September to make sure that Congress has all that they need to hold Gary accountable. Gary needs to be asked the uncomfortable questions. Congress needs to ask questions that they're uncomfortable asking. So I'm making it real easy for them. We've spent over a year and a half finding all the video, putting the timeline together, that we've done all the homework for them. Congress doesn't even need their staff to find it. In fact, if you're congressional staff, all you have to do is give them a link to this video. I put it together for you. Watch this. Here we go. You need to watch every 5 minutes and 50 seconds because these are Gary Gensler's words, Everybody in here is their own words. I'm not saying a thing. I'm just telling you this is what they said.
When somebody is raising money from the public, Ethereum started with a pre-sale and an ICO, which we'll be talking about 72 million Ethereum. Vitalik wanted to raise money. He was maybe 19 years old. He looped in with a venture capitalist from Canada, Joe Lubin, who now runs Consensus. Lubin took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million. We'll talk later in the semester as to whether that was really a securities offering. I've publicly said I think so. The public gets to decide which risks they take. What our regime is about disclosure, making sure there's full and fair and truthful disclosure. Even President Roosevelt called it the Truth and Securities Act.
A person can buy from any number of different identities. We may limit the size, the unit size of a sale, just to make it easier to disguise.
Satoshi Nakamoto writes the white paper, Halloween night in 2008.
He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we're like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters, and we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people, and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what the reason for it was.
But what is the investing public doing? They're investing for a better future based upon the efforts of others. There's websites you go to, there's Medium posts that you read, there's crypto Twitter, there's Reddit forums and places you can look for information. And it's about that common enterprise and that entrepreneurial effort.
Now what you're looking at here, I did 4 screenshots. This is the Ethereum pre-sale on Facebook where they're posting on Facebook. So just what he just said in that video, they're posting on Facebook, and you'll see 4 screenshots, and they're putting Ether sale and frequently asked questions and everything that he's saying. There's more,
which is the hallmark of investment contracts, which are securities.
There's more. The only location to purchase Ether. Interview, Ether sale, frequently asked
questions. And
questions.
We, the SEC, have a role to help protect investors and instill and enhance trust in these markets.
So if you are if you want planning on investing several million US dollars worth, then you can do that for multiple identities.
And when somebody is raising money from the public and the public anticipates a profit.
A lot of cryptocurrencies do resemble securities. What's the next step?
They don't just resemble, they are securities, Nick. They are. I mean, Thurgood Marshall, a great Supreme Court justice, wrote in an opinion, and I think it was in the 1970s, that Congress painted with a broad brush to protect the public. And when somebody is raising money from the public and the public anticipates a profit.
And I learned if you're a rich guy, you don't break the rules, right? So I was like, but I could buy OTC. And so I end up calling Vitalik, who I met once, didn't really know me. And I bought Ethereum from Vitalik.
You OTC'd ETH from Vitalik?
At 96 cents. I'm not going to tell you how much, but it's not an insignificant amount. Yeah. And then I started buying more OTC in the market. So now I owned a lot of Ethereum. I'd call it $1.50, a lot. And, I went away to India. I came back. It was trading they had 2 weeks later, trading at 5 or 6 and started going up. This was now March. And I realized Joe no longer needed my money because he owned a lot of Ethereum. And you don't want to arbitrage your friend. And I was thinking, how would I contribute? We have a very similar well, he has a much more technical skill set than me, but he's a good leader, he's a good speaker. And so I said, I'm going to just cheer for him. And I'm just going to be a private investor. And I hired a young kid, a guy named John West, who was great. And he actually pretty much lived at the consensus office. I said, you can go live with those guys. And so it was fun to get a bird's eye view of the beginning. Even the Dow hack, I was on the conference calls listening as the old wise guy, just thinking, and trading. I just have trading in my blood, and so I'd buy and sell, and Ether went to 20, I sold a bunch and bought it back at 8.
If you have a desire to take your crypto and lend it, that you actually have some disclosures that the service provider providing you that interest. And remember, if somebody says reward or yield or interest or return, the label doesn't matter. It's similar to when you put your money with the money market fund and you say, well, they're going to give me a return, but then they actually have to disclose what they're doing with your money.
Ecosystem that's developing largely on Ethereum. We have lending, borrowing systems, we have money market systems, we have payment systems.
Okay, now I want to make a point that I've made several times on this channel. Even though we're always talking about Ethereum and showing all this stuff, this has never been about hurting even Bitcoin or Ethereum. This has been about having a level playing field. And if we have to put a spotlight, we have had to put a spotlight on Bitcoin and Ethereum to illustrate that they're trying to rig a market here. This is not fair. They're trying to pick winners and losers, and all we want is a level playing field. I'm done making all these stupid videos. I'm tired of showing Gary Gensler and the SEC and all this stuff. I don't want to focus on Ethereum or Bitcoin. I hope they do great on a level playing field. There has not been a competition in digital assets because these guys have set this market so that Bitcoin and Ethereum got a free pass, and they know it. That's the reason we keep showing these videos, is because they have to. This is what creates the pressure that's going to make these guys have to give us a level playing field, because what's been done here is not right, and they know it. Every single one of them knows, and everybody in Congress knows it too. And all of you that think, oh, why do you keep tweeting about this and all? Oh, it's not doing anything. You don't know what you are talking about. Everything that's going on right now is because, not everything, but the pressure that has been created by social media, and specifically XRP community people, the pressure that has been created. Because look, these people want to be able to do these things under the cover of darkness. And this is light to dark. This is putting a spotlight on it. They don't want a spotlight on it. The spotlight is what makes people do things right, do the right thing. And that's all we've ever wanted, is the right thing. I don't want anything bad for Ethereum or Bitcoin. I want them to compete on a level playing field, and right now you've got Gary Gensler. Now, just like Lowell Ness said, we wanted to, he's the attorney for Andreessen Horowitz. He said we wanted to get Bitcoin and Ethereum through out from under securities laws. That was what they were trying to do. And now you have an SEC, and Hinman was involved. Now you have an SEC that's saying, okay, we've got them through the door. Now we're going to point at all others and say they're all securities. It's obvious what's been done here, folks, and we're going to shine the spotlight on it until the right thing is done. All we want is a framework for digital assets, all digital assets, not just for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they get some special treatment. And by the way, check this out from Stefan Huber. I don't know where he found this. This is an email from Elizabeth Gronert at Simpson Thatcher to Bill Hinman at the SEC, and it says, I hope this email finds you well. I had sent a few emails to your Gmail account regarding your Simpson Thatcher benefits. Please check your Gmail. This is where the criminal conflicts lie, folks. And now we know that Simpson Thatcher was sending him emails while he's at the SEC to his Gmail account. Folks, think about this is what I wrote. Think of how hard that they tried to hide. Tried to hide the SEC.gov emails in ETHgate and all this. Just imagine what's in the Gmail freaking accounts, folks. And again, I'm not, even though half of these people half these people probably need to be in real trouble for this, but I don't even want that. That's not what my mission has ever been, even if they deserve it. My mission has always been one phrase: level playing field. That's all I've ever wanted in this whole space. So the second there's a level playing field and this thing's over, I'm done with this. I'm not interested in all of this stuff. That's not my mission. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family